Hi, it's Laura from My Home Matters, back with something different this week, and that was this little project I tried for my mantle. I gathered a bunch of jack-o'-lanterns and laid them out on my mantle, trying to get an idea of what I thought I was going to do. I was thinking I would spray them white, so I was going to see what they looked like white and then determine whether I would change my mind and spray them black. After all, I was torn between the two. So I took them out to the driveway, taped off their stems, and started spraying them with this Rustoleum paint and primer in one, white, that I got. And it turns out I got, I think, what was a defective bottle, because you'll start to see, you may see, the paint start to drip all over the place. It was dripping down my hand. It was quite a mess, actually. But I was well into it by now. So you can kind of start to see the drips falling everywhere, and every time I shook it, it got worse. So I was having to deal with that, trying not to get it on myself. But I just kept going and dealt with it, I guess, is what you could say. So I got these pumpkins at Lowe's. All of them I got that you see on the mantle itself in the end, I got at Lowe's. They had a pretty good selection, being that it was pretty close to Halloween time. The one that is in the final picture on the floor in front of my fireplace, I found at Walmart. So I just kept spray painting thin layers, thin coats. I did one general coat over everything, and then I came back after a little while and did a second coat. I probably could have done a third coat, but I was hoping that I didn't run out of paint with just the one can that I bought. So I forgot to take a video of everything cleared off before I started it all. But once I was done and everything was dry enough to bring up, I started bringing things back to where I originally was playing around with everything, but I decided not to put the big one up there. I wasn't sure if I was going to keep the big one, the very, very big one, or if I was going to do something with it and put it on the floor, which is ultimately what I did. So I wanted to play with the heights so that I kind of had some different levels. I wanted to give a spot for the bats, because I just love those bats. And I wanted a place for my Addams Family sign that we did as a kit in the shop. The little jack-o'-lanterns that are in the center that are black was something that I featured during a Friday feature on my Facebook page. Every Friday I go live, and I featured those as just a little project you could do with some of the leftover items we have in our section of the shop called the Maker's Market. So these little bats are so darn cute and so easy. I ordered them from Amazon. I got like a big pack of them. It came with a ton. I put a whole bunch in my entryway, and then I had a ton left. I still have more left that I could even do another area or two if I wanted. And they just have that little piece on the back that's just a little sticky back thing, and you kind of fold on a crease, and it makes them, look three-dimensional. So as I was looking at everything, I thought I was okay with the way everything was. I fooled with the arrangement a little bit more, but I ended up feeling like it blended in a little bit too much with my off-white mantle. So I knew that I had a bunch of black napkins, fabric napkins. So you're seeing me kind of tuck them in different spots. I should have put them in before I put everything on, and I could have taken everything down again to put it on, but I ended up just kind of tucking them in and making it feel like there was just a long piece of tablecloth or fabric in there. I just kind of bunched it up in certain ways to try to break up the white mantle with the white on the jack-o'-lanterns. And also my mantle is kind of like an off-white, creamy white, whereas the lanterns were more of a bright white, and the window is kind of a cross in between. So I was kind of trying to pull it all together. Now I did notice when I sprayed the little pumpkin over towards the right, in between the two bigger ones, that as soon as the spray paint touched the pumpkin, it turned like a cream off-white color. It did not take it as a white. And so there was something in that pumpkin that caused that paint to not stay its true color. But it ended up blending in well with everything else. Like I said, we've got a little bit of an off-white and a little bit of a white between the lettering on the sign and the pumpkins and the mantle and the window. And then I remembered that I had an off-white colored garland that I thought would go with this perfectly. So I pulled that up and kind of pulled it all together. And I really like how it turned out. And especially because I was able to pull in my little jack-o'-lanterns that I made on my Facebook page a couple of weeks ago. I hope this gives you some inspiration. It's a very last-minute project. I don't decorate that much for Halloween, but I was very inspired this year to try something different. And I hope it inspires you too. One thing that I completely forgot about was that all of these jack-o'-lanterns had a light and you could plug them in and light them up. And I forgot to put those lights back in. Here you see them on the floor. And after I did all of that and put the napkins on, I thought I'm not taking everything down again and putting them in. So they'll just have to wait to be lit up until next year. Please don't forget to follow us on social. Instagram and Pinterest are my_home_matters. Facebook is My Home Matters, LLC. Please hit the like button on this video, and we'd really appreciate if you would subscribe to our channel. We'll see you next week.